The North American Dust Bowl. What caused the Dust Bowl? The Dust Bowl was caused by several economic and agricultural factors, including federal land policies, changes in regional weather, farm economics, and other cultural factors. In the early part of the 20th century, thousands of Americans were drawn to the southern Great Plains to begin a new life in what the U.S. government described as the last frontier of agriculture. The migration resulted from a combination of generous federal farm policies intended to settle the southern plains, unusually high rainfall, and high wheat prices, brought on by World War I. The result was the Great Blow-up, in which an estimated 5.2 million acres of native grassland, roughly the combined size of Connecticut and Delaware, was converted from thick native grasslands into wheat field. The native grasslands and molly-salt soils that were plowed under to create the wheat fields took thousands of years to become established and were very effective at stabilizing the fine-grained soil and loess against the wild weather variations and high winds typical of the Great Plains. Following the stock market crash of 1929, the nation sunk into depression and wheat prices plummeted from about $2 per bushel to about 40 cents per bushel. Many farmers responded by increasing the size of their wheat fields in hopes of overcoming the reductions in price by expanding the volume of the wheat they produce. As the increased wheat supply further eroded prices, many farmers simply abandoned their farms, leaving the former grassland behind as exposed dry fields. Stock market crash, 1929. Compounding the situation was a long-term severe drought across the region. Not only did the drought prevent the native grasslands from re-establishing, but the accompanying winds rapidly swept up the fine particles of soil and loess, producing massive dust storms that buried farms, choked livestock and humans, and removed much of the soil that had taken so long to develop. Thousands of farmers and their families from Dakotas to Texas went bankrupt and left. Images from 1930s U.S. Dust Bowl. Today, dryland crops are rotated and the fields are terraced so that the furrows do not run downhill. Fields are regularly tested to help the soil recover between crops. Irrigation helps to stabilize the soil. The primary Great Plains aquifer, the Ogallala Aquifer, is rapidly being depleted, and irrigation in other dryland farming regions is under similar pressure. Average annual temperatures continue to warm, requiring more irrigation and longer recovery periods between crops. As more pressure to produce the falls on the breadbasket of the nation, these headwinds will only intensify, and it will be up to future generations to come up with solutions to avoid a repeat of the Great Dust Bowl of the 1930s. The Dust Bowl timeline: 1930 to 1931. As much as 50% of all crops in Arkansas failed. 1934. The worst dust storm in American history, dubbed Black Sunday. 1936. In July, 12 states break their temperature record. 1939 to 1940, Louisiana experiences 115 days of 90 degrees temperature. 1930 to 1931, the first drought ravaged 23 states in the Mississippi and Ohio River valleys. It reached as far east as the Mid-Atlantic region and hit 8 southern states. Deflation during the Depression drove cotton prices down from $0.18 per pound in 1928 to $0.6 per pound. 1934. This was the hottest year on record until 1998. The 1934 drought led the following year to Black Sunday, the worst storm of the Dust Bowl, on April 14, 1935. 1936. The drought returned with the hottest summer on record. It also was the deadliest heatwave in U.S. history with 5,000 fatalities. 13 states experienced record temperatures of 110 degrees or higher: Kansas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Utah, Arizona, Colorado, Texas, Missouri, Indiana, South Dakota, Montana, Mississippi, and Kentucky, with the highest temperature of 121 degrees in Arizona. 1939 to 1940, heat and drought returned. Louisiana experienced 116 consecutive days of 90 degrees between June 6 and September 29, 1939. By 1941, rainfall levels had returned to near normal levels. The rains helped to end the Dust Bowl and the Great Depression. How it affected the economy. The massive dust storms caused farmers to lose their livelihoods and their homes. Deflation from the Depression aggravated the plight of Dust Bowl farmers. Prices for the crops they could grow fell below subsistence levels. In 1932, the federal government sent aid to the drought-affected states. How it could happen again. The Dust Bowl could happen again. Agribusiness is draining the groundwater from the Ogallala Aquifer at least 6 times faster than the rain is putting it back. The aquifer stretches from South Dakota to Texas and is home to a multi-billion industry that grows 1/5 of the United States wheat, corn, and beef cattle. At the current rate of use, the groundwater will be gone within the century. Parts of the Texas Panhandle are already running dry. Scientists say it would take 6,000 years to refill the aquifer.